So, you know how recently I talked to you guys about Mesopotta Reclamation, the long-forgotten, not-known-about Monster Hunter browser game? Well, I figured after that, if there's one obscure, weird Monster Hunter game that I never knew existed, despite it being, well, an official spin-off, blessed by Capcom, what if there's more of them? Well, there might be more of them, right? Check if there's more of them, because maybe we should look, and if there is, we could talk about them, and there's another one! Hello, my fellow hunters! How are you doing? Get ready, strap in, prepare yourselves and brace, because we're going to talk today about a little-known game that goes by the name Monster Hunter Big Game Hunting Quest! Oh yes, oh yes. I can't believe the path I've been on, right? Having it would be really cool to have like a Monster Hunter city builder. Hey, did you know that there was kind of something like that? You should have a look at it. Okay, I'll have a look at it. This is insane, but at least that's done. Wait, what if there's other obscure games? Well, there is! It's also insane! Well, now I have to make everyone else go through this with me again! And here we are, doing it again. When will it end? Who knows? But Monster Hunter Big Game Hunting Quest. You've been seeing it. You've probably been going, what am I looking at exactly? So this was a card battling RPG. Yes, you heard that right. A card battling RPG. When I think of Monster Hunter, one thing that doesn't come to my mind is, time to But while that may be not the closest comparison, as you don't really, use the cards in that way, what you do actually do is throw them at the monsters. You get cards that represent a hunter that has a certain type of weapon with a certain element and a certain strength, and you launch it at the monsters. The monsters being essentially just static PNG images of their renders at the time, I might add, and then you kill them. And that's all well and good, really fun, yay! You explore through a map with each of the zones. In each of the zones, something happens. You might find an item, it might be a small monster, you might have a proper fight, and that's all well and good. You get your rewards, and then you can head back to base, I'm going to assume. Honestly, it's really hard to find concrete information on this. I have been looking into it for days, and I only have the faintest grasp of what's going on here. Hell, there might even be a PvP mode, as far as I can tell, where you have your little card battle against another person, and you have your 5 hunters represented by your 5 cards on each side of the arena. The crowd there, the roar, you can feel the Colosseum, the detail and the graphical fidelity is impeccable. And I imagine I've lost most of you because you're just staring to the right of the screen, aren't you? You sick bastard. In any case, what is that character? What about that character design is Monster Hunter? I don't... in any case, you can see the actual, hunter and weapon cards there, and you have an energy that it costs to use the card, and if you want more energy, you had to pay for it past the daily limit. So you're using each hunter, you're choosing which one to launch at the battlefield at the enemy. They do their damage, their amount, their element, their weapon type, and you go back and forth like that with combos, and, it's not the worst looking. I mean, honestly, on balance between this and Mesopod Reclamation. I'm probably leaning towards card collecting and, you know, battling in that sense. You get a lot of satisfaction after a card collection, though when we get round to looking at the individual cards, you might change your mind. In any case, from what I can tell, there's a thrilling, gripping story where you are on a blimp with the blacksmith through a card storm. Oh my god! And out of the card storm comes a new card. You can also craft the cards from what you have found on your travels, and they can be at different power ratings and somewhat random. You know how that kind of goes down, so that's all well and good. But honestly, the whole thing is just bananas. Like, the amount of genres that Monster Hunter has apparently existed in that I had no concept of is crazy. A card collecting, crafting, RPG, battling by throwing the cards, turn-based, maybe PvP, maybe not, game. And again, all the artwork is so different. And one of you guys last time actually pointed out why that might be, and it's because they commission a singular artist to do a group of the characters, and then another one for another group, and they don't make sure the actual styles mesh or are similar, so you just end up with a right melting pot of options. And generally speaking, there's just, I mean, some of the images aren't even cut out properly. Like these Vespoids, you can see the white around their wings. Like, they've not even used a transparent image. I mean, Fever is accurate because that's what it gives you when you look at this after it makes you bedridden for a couple days. I really don't know what to say other than this is the thing. This is the thing. You can level up your cards, you can level up yourself, the Zenny, and I assume a way to spend it. Probably on more cards, and we all have a great, lovely time. So, yeah, bottom line, this is a thing that exists. A card battling RPG, Monster Hunter, big game hunting quest. It was a mobile game. It lasted 5 years somehow, and really, there was even special events. You had Valentine's going on. You had a Christmas event going on. Yep, a Christmas event going on. Just gonna let that one sink in. And we had then multiple weapons represented in the game. There was a great sword, dual blades, hammer, hunting horn, lance gun, lance, light bowgun, heavy bowgun, and bow. Anything past that, I cannot confirm nor deny. But we are gonna look at some of the cards you can find and you can craft, starting with great sword. Of course, I had to choose Brachydios over here. God, this Monster Hunter should not be handled like this. Capcom's obsession for every female armor having a thigh gap is one thing, but this is entirely other. In any case, we got Brachydios, Greatsword, who is Dragon Element and apparently 6 stars, and really, admittedly, if there's one thing that I love to go with the armor of my favorite monster, is a pair of massive explosions, because that makes sense. It's Brachydios, you know? Gormagala, great sword, good bit more dragon power, but this one's gold and 7 stars and mass. Though then we have this one, this Legiacrus, which actually is quite badass and a pretty decent bit of Monster Hunter artwork. And this is what I'm saying. I think this one genuinely seems like it's had a little bit more effort and thought put into it than Mesopod Reclamation. I mean, it lasted 5 years, which beats Reclamation, and it has at least a working core gameplay loop that isn't just superficial in a browser on PC. So, you know, I think, yeah, if you had to choose between one of them to play, then we move on to the Dual Blades. We've got the Ropisa armor, of course, with the insects. It's not too bad. The Devil Joe stepping in, also looking pretty good. Then we have this badass hammer smack on a roaring Rathalos, which is quite an awesome action shot, I will admit. And then a Rathalos head hammer flaming it up. Yeah, it really isn't the worst. Oh, just to make it fair, I thought I'd put one of the few what I think is a male hunter in, and I just love the contrast here of how much plainer and just Velociprey it is, and he's not even got an element, he's not max, only 5 stars. It's really sad. Denoga guitar doing a great little electric riff, which is, of course, all thundery. And then I don't remember Gypsaros armor quite looking like this. I mean, it's been a while since I've crafted it or needed it, so I might just be misremembering. But, you know, the massive poison splash strum, you know, that's a nice touch if it's not melting her hand off actively. And then Lance, for some reason in all of these random weird spin-off games, gets to just be really cool. So take that what you will about Lance. Good old Barrioth looking ferocious in the distance, ready for a good old battle. And then Gunlance in its natural habitat, underwater in Celtus armor. That makes a lot of sense for a choice for the explosive weapon. I mean, I guess at least it is a water one, so we got that going on. And we also have this sort of windy blast stab, which again looks pretty cool. And then light bowgun. This one I had to choose because I can't actually see a light bowgun in this. The only thing I can see is a feline sticking about of a bag, blowing what looks like a pea shooter, i.e. the little bamboo tube, and no one can convince me otherwise. This light bowgun is a cat in a bag firing little bullets out of a bamboo tube at monsters, and that makes it the best weapon ever created in Monster Hunter, and I rest my case. Then we have Injection Fairy Lily coming into the fold here. It really reminds me of that Yu-Gi-Oh card, and that's a dragon light bowgun, the classic umbrella one, which is always a fun weapon. Then we've got this that I had to pick, just for con's sake, really, a heavy bowgun of fire, a Duramboros action, and yeah, the Duramboros itself is very much like, oh, over there, getting very into this whole thing. I think she's facing the wrong way, but, you know, it doesn't matter too much because she's about to die. Then Karapeko, heavy bowgun, the Jestery outfit, the lightning, it's a very funky one, and one I thought would be quite fun to show. And then we get to the bows. The Roggy cowboy armor's always been good, and hey, this is a Valentine's special one, because now the hearts are love. So that's thematic and lovely, isn't it? What a nice event. And then I have saved, I mean, depending on your disposition here, it's either going to be the worst for last or the best for last. And look, you've seen everything else up until this point, right? There's been a few questionable ones. There's been a lot of fairly okay bits of art. There's been even a few genuinely cool ones. Well, this is unbelievable to me in the lineup. I have so many questions that when they got this back from whoever they commissioned of it, they looked at it and went, yeah, alright, put that in, compared to everything. Look at the expression on the bloody Palico's face. Like, he is not in the room. Like, it's just so funny. Oh, I can't get over it. This one was a double take when I was looking through which ones to choose to show you. In any case, there you have it. That's a quick little 101 intro blast, kind of the best I can do, I'm sorry, to Monster Hunter Big Game Hunting Quest, a card battling RPG that existed for 5 whole years and then I never even knew about until now. Now, do you want me to keep going down this rabbit hole? Because I can, and I think there's more, and I will, but only if you promise to go on this journey with me. Until then, like if you've enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the bell for more. Consider supporting the future channel on Patreon down below. And until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.